weekend game for Halloween. 10 hours of silence. We're gonna play a metal pipe crawling sound effect. Now, if someone's wearing headphones, you really might not want it.
This I got a 30 right here. Got his bitch be flirting with it. Say I'm a mega drug when it's time to shit. He's some shit, I'll take the
Okay, that's fine.
To touch the apple. Any chance the grape could possibly squeeze down there, allow us to make an easy pomelo? The answer appears to be...
Welcome to Real Hip Hop Radio 96.7, your stop for hip hop and sampling history. We're taking calls right now at 951-262-3062. Call in if you have anything you want to say.
I was wondering, is it really ethical to be playing sample songs on your radio show?
I would consider all the mixes and songs I played to fall under fair use, but there's been disagreements between the 9th and 6th Circuit courts on whether digital sampling should even fall under that. It started in 2005 with the 6th Circuit Court's analysis of Bridgeport Free Dimension films, where they conclude that the de minimis exception is invalid when it comes to sampling. Meanwhile, the 9th Court during 2013 in the VMG Salsa vs. Sonia case ruled in favor of the de minimis exception, even in digital sampling. It's a contentious topic, courts disagreeing and all, but I just have an optimistic outlook on it. Thank you for calling.
Get
country shells around like sometimes. And I've never been a fan, so it might be nuts. But I can't take a spot for a teacher. This is something that is always out and always scared of. And if I sit there on my finger, I'm a fast pace. Always feeling that we feel those
obvious question here is, where am I?
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning into Real Hip Hop Radio 96.7. And today we are interviewing up-and-coming artist DJ Cabbage. We've played a few of his mixes on the radio recently, and I've managed to find him outside the studio on the street, so I brought him inside to ask for some insight.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. For the first question, how do you find what you sample for your songs? A lot of your remixes mix multiple songs together, and I'm wondering how you find these songs.
I usually find my samples by crate digging or listening to other radios and sampling records I think sound fun. I also like to sample artists I like or songs using iconic records.
So, what inspired you to start making music in the first place? Your style seems very inspired, and I'd like to know what artists got you into this field of work.
Growing up, I listened to a lot of the classics. LSO, Pete Rock, DJ Coolhard, it's Flashmo. I wanted to be a DJ, you know? I looked up to people like...
On that topic, what's it like being a DJ?
It's pretty fun. My goal with making mixes has always been to put people in dancing mood. Singing everybody enjoying themselves kind of my senses, but I've always dreamed of, you know?
Okay, next question. What technical skills do you need for your line of work?
It's a lot of things, like the ability to hear the key of songs, match BPMs, and you need an ear to find songs that match together. There's also tons of other tricks I use I've picked up over the years.
Oh, one last question for you. How'd you come up with that name?
I grew up on a farm, you know?
Huh, interesting.
genuinely sorry that the radio host kind of sounds like Batman. It was not intentional. I wasn't trying to do anything.